pattern has a lot of variations that are possible. I was messing around with some of them earlier. And the first obvious variation is to try to do a regular cascade rather than a reverse cascade. The reverse cascade seems like the obvious choice because it keeps your multiplexes from having to interact too much. They just go over each other. Now if you're doing a regular cascade throw, you can't really go underneath both of the multiplex balls. So the way you do a regular cascade throw is to throw between the two balls. So when the multiplex stack is in the air, if they're spread far enough, you should be able to throw these two up through them like that. Now it helps for this pattern to really emphasize that diagonal nature of these split throws. So try to really keep your hands kind of going in an X motion. This should allow you to do a full-fledged, regular cascade. It's a little bit awkward because you really have to like reach up to be able to poke through them. So, yeah, but it is possible. So of course now that you can do regular and reverse throws, you can do a half shower, like so. A little bit awkward, but possible. And even more fun, you can do a windmill. So the way you do this is simply by doing an underarm throw, which is possible, just like that. And then continuing with reverse throws from your other hand, like normal. Now it's important to keep in mind with this windmill that whichever hand throws the stack is going to be catching the bottom one from that stack. So I'm going to make a throw. I'm going to throw one, then two. The third throw I do is going to be this one and this one. You're going to see that the bottom white ball ends up again by my right hand. So 1, 2, 3. Now you'll notice that you have to kind of wait in this cross-arm position for your right hand to catch the bottom ball of the multiplex it just threw before you come back out to start throwing again. And that's what's really important when you're doing a windmill, is to make sure that you wait on the catching side of your windmill with whatever hand just threw as multiplex, so that you catch both balls in that hand before you return to the throwing side to make your next throw. So I'm holding my hands there. Just a little bit slower than you would think for a regular windmill, I think. Of course, if you can do windmills, you can also do Mills Mets. I think the important thing there is to make sure that they're very vertical, or at least that they don't end up too much like this. If they go horizontal, it's very hard to catch them because you have to really have time between the first and second balls landing. I was also wondering if there's any way to possibly do a shower pattern with this, because it seems like it'd be fun to see kind of like a constant high-low shower effect going on. And I have actually discovered a possible way to do this. So the problem is that your right hand is the only one that throws. So your right hand wants to be throwing 2 balls, 2 balls, 2 balls, 2 balls. And when the second ball your right hand threw, which is going to come back to your right hand, is landing back in your right hand, you also need to be feeding a new ball from your left hand at the same time. So this results in what's called a squeeze multiplex catch, like that. So to practice this, you can just kind of throw one up in the air from this hand, and as it's landing, inject a ball from your left hand. So the ball that you threw up from the same hand that's catching it usually is caught in the front. For me, that seems to be easier. They catch in the front of your hand, and at the same time you can throw kind of towards your palm so that it'll run into the front ball and stick them both like this. So you can practice that for a while. Now, in reality, in the actual pattern, I kind of end up just mashing my hands together to try to catch both of them because it's very difficult. But if you're going to do it properly, that's the way you're supposed to. The way you can practice this is by holding 2 in your right hand, 2 in your left hand, and you're going to do a throw straight up in the air from your left to simulate a ball coming down from your right hand, or you can just start with 3 and throw it across, whatever's easier. And as that one's peaking, you're going to throw 2 from your right hand, right, and do a pass as you're throwing, of course. Now you have 2 in the air and 1 in your left hand, 1 in your right hand. You're going to make another throw from your right hand, and then the bottom ball from the multiplex is going to start to come down towards your right hand, and you're going to do the squeeze throw. So that's up, 1, 2, squeeze. And the squeeze is kind of done right after you've thrown that one single ball after the multiplex throw. Multiplex, and then you do 1 squeeze. Sorry, this is really ugly, I realize. Something like that. You can see I'm kind of mashing my hands together because I haven't really practiced it for that much. But I do know it's possible. And of course, to extend that, you can have 5 balls. You can throw 1 across or 1 up in the air, whatever you prefer. And then from then on, every single throw from your right hand is 2 balls, and every single pass is a squeeze catch. So I don't know if you can follow that, but I hope you can see that that's at least theoretically possible to do for a longer run than I am currently able. You can also experiment with different types of catches, like claws, for example. I've been messing around trying to do penguins, which basically involves catching the first ball that actually comes from your other hand down into a penguin, and then waiting for the ball that you threw from that hand to come down to a penguin as well. And penguin. Yes. Whatever, I'm counting that. That's pretty tough. So I encourage you to play around with that. Just get you acquainted with the feeling of having 5 balls around at the very least. See what other types of patterns or catches or whatnot you can convert from 3 to 5 using this split multiplex technique. Good luck. Enjoy.